Welcome to Growler Motorsports, episode number 11. Today what we're going to do is replace the incandescent marker lights on a 2026 Subaru BRZ. We're going to replace it with an animated turn signal marker light with startup features on it. So these are the marker lights. I ordered these from Amazon.com. They're from a company called KUNGKIC. I've ordered stuff from them before for my BRZ and they've all worked out well. So we're going to open this up and see what this looks like. So it comes with two plug-and-play adapters, both of them identical. Basically, one plugs into the headlights and then plugs into the main wiring harness for the car on the left side. And then it has this little extra adapter that's going to run down and connect to our marker light to give it the turn signal and the startup animations. One's for the left, one's for the right. I don't know if there's any difference between the two. And then we have our individual marker lights. They offer them in clear lens or a smoked lens, and I thought the smoked lens would look better against my my blue paint, so I went with the smoked lens. There's one for the left, one for the right. This is where the turn signal and startup animation wires will plug in. And that is it. There are no instructions or other parts that come with this. It is a pretty straightforward install. I've already Googled it. It pops right in, screws down with a 10mm bolt, and then you just have to fish this wire through the front quarter panels to plug into here and then zip tie them into place so that they don't shake loose or break. So now I'm going to document what the marker lights look like. The lights are set to auto and it's daytime, so they're probably not active. These are the running lights. So I don't know if the marker lights in the corner will light up for this or not. Then we have full headlights. I'm pretty sure they should be active now. I'm going to put the four-ways on. That's what the four-ways look like with the original marker lights. And then I'm going to do the right turn signal. So I'm going to turn the engine on and turn my wheel so that I have more room to work in this wheel well. And I decided I'd have my son record the marker light so we can see how bright the original one is, because I've read online that this new one is ridiculously bright. So we're going to compare the before and after. Okay, the light should be on now, so you can get a good feel for how bright it is originally. And now I'm going to turn the wheel so I have room to work in there. And then I'm going to shut the car back off. I read the manufacturer's website, and they basically said there's only a few tools needed for this job. We're going to need a 10mm wrench. I have a ratcheting wrench here. I can use the closed end or the open end if I need it. Flat tip screwdriver. I wasn't sure how big of one I would need, so I got two. And then they recommended you may need some zip ties in order to take care of the loose wiring, to make sure it doesn't rattle or rub against anything that could cause it to wear. So I did some research on these, and we have to take these wheel well liner covers off before we can get to the marker light. Most of the YouTube videos and instructions that I saw show pushing in to pop the tab out. But since this is a newer generation, I guess, this is a 2026, we basically have to use a screwdriver to kind of pry them out. They're like pop clips. So I'm going to put my screwdriver here. I'm going to pull out gently. I don't want to break these. This is a brand new car. That one popped out. And then that whole thing pops off. And take that and stick it there. Let's see if we can rotate these. We can't. But we're going to go underneath there again. Jiggle a little bit. And get that to pop out. And then we pull that one off. And we're going to do the same for this last one. Looks like we go in right here like this. We're going to jiggle or wiggle a little bit. Yeah, it popped, didn't break, which is good. And that one came out. Now we're going to put our screwdriver in here and gently pull this back so we can see what we're working with. And if you can see in there, here's a 10 millimeter bolt. We're going to take that off. And then here is the clip for the marker light. We're going to take that off. And then there's a tab here and a tab here that we squeeze in, and then we can pull the light out. So I'm going to take the nut off first. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. So let's go like this. Okay, that was on there snug but not too tight, so we have to remember not to make it too tight when we put it back on. This is a plastic lens, a plastic marker light. We don't want it to break by over torquing it. So we're going to take that and put it here. And then I don't know how to take this clip off until I look at it. So I'm going to squeeze the bottom tab in. And I get the bottom of the light out. I'm going to squeeze the top tab down. This one's tricky because it's up here near the top. There, I think I got it now. That one's out. This one's out. And again, these are plastic, so you want to be very careful not to pry too hard or squeeze too hard on these. Now I'm just going to take this clip off. And it looks like you have to maybe just have to get some good light on here. Seems like you have to push this up. There's a clip here. Going to get under this little tab. I think I might need a smaller screwdriver for this. So, cut. So there's a little clip in there that we have to get over. My screwdriver was too big before, so I got a smaller one. I also had my cameraman change his angle so he can get a better view of this. We're basically going to pry this up, and then that should come right off, just like that. So that one's off now. Now the easy part would be to just make sure this is a good fit. We're going to do like a temporary fit here. Put that in there. That looks like it's going to be a perfect fit. So it's the right shape. Everything's in the right spot. And we're good. So now what we're going to do is make sure this wire is still hanging out. We're going to connect this. So come on up here. So I started feeling around. I'm basically looking for this clip because I need to push this down when I pull out so that I don't break any wires. And I started feeling around on this, and it looks like it's on the bottom. So I'm going to use my index finger to pull up, to squeeze up while I pull out. So there's a little lip up here. If I can get the screwdriver on that lip, maybe I can try against the top while I have the bottom held up. There we go. Okay, so now that's out. Now what we need to do is plug this in. Should get a nice click. Well, I didn't hear a click, but it's on there. Because if we pull, it's not coming out. Now we need to take this, make sure that's pointed towards the bottom, and just plug that into here like this. There we go, that slid right in and it clicked, sort of. So that's on there now. And then we need to cut this zip tie off very carefully. So I was trying to cut this off with the scissors. I couldn't get it on there, and I actually just moved it back and forth to see if I could pull the wires loose, and it broke. So that was faulty craftsmanship or poor quality materials in a good way for us. Hopefully that's not representative of any of these wires, because that would be not so good. Now, I don't know how we're going to do this, but we need to fish this wire down here and then pull it out of where that other marker, where the marker light was. So I'm going to put that down there like that. And then we're basically done with the inside of the car now. Now I just need to see if I can find where that wire is. I don't know if it came down enough. If you find that it's a real struggle to get this wire where you want it, you can use a coat hanger or something to kind of push it down. Like use a twisty to fasten that wire to the coat hanger and then push the coat hanger down until it comes out to here. From some previous jobs that I've done, I actually had some luminescent fishing wire fish here. This actually made the job much easier. So it basically, when it gets light on it, it glows in the dark, which helps us to find it. And it's straight instead of this flimsy wire that's not rigid. And then you just use like a twist tie or something easy to attach the wire to the fish. And then if you want to come around, I'll show you where the hole is. You may need to put the flashlight on for that. Up. See, there's a little hole right here where we have to fish the wire through. So we're going to take that and push it right there like that. And now we're going to come over here. It was here just a minute ago when I tested this. So stay right here. I'll keep moving it around until I find it. So it took some fishing, but here it is. So keep this here, and there it is. So now we can undo the twisty. Take that off and then pull. Well, before I pull that back out, we should hook it up so that we don't lose the wire. I moved all these pieces because I didn't want to risk stepping on it while I was moving around the car trying to fish the wire through the crevice here. But basically, this wire is kind of small and a little flimsy. I don't want it to break, so I'm going to be real careful with it. Actually, I want this to come out up here, so I'm going to have to move it. I'm going to use my hand though, since I know where this wire is now. I'm going to pull this through here. And I'm going to push it through here. Okay, there it is. Just double check for reference. This is where the original clip goes for the daytime running lights. And this is where the clip for the animations and the turn signal are going to go. So we'll plug this one. Actually, we can take this out now. So I'm just going to remove the fish to get that out of the way. And then we're going to plug this in. Looks like it goes like this. There's a little track on the inside, and that's where the clip goes. So we push those together till it clicks. Hold on 1 second. You definitely want to make sure you don't break anything. So I was looking in here at these two prongs and here at these two prongs. Looks like one of these is a little bit out of alignment. We're not going to do too much to it. We're just going to try to straighten it out a little bit if we can. Those look pretty much the same. Just need to push this one down a little bit more. And this should go on now, I hope. There it goes. So you want to be careful with the internals on these. If they don't line up, don't try to force it. You could bend it to the point of no return, or you might break something. So if it doesn't go on with a relatively easy push, double check everything to make sure everything's lined up. These are both parts from the same new turn signal, so they should just click right into place. It looks like, so there's a little catch right here. This probably goes on the clip side. So we're going to put this in like this. And that clipped. So now we're good. So we're going to put the loose wire back into there. And then we're going to push this into place. And I'm going to kind of help it if I can. Just kind of pressing it in until it clips. And there it is. That should be in place. Now I'm going to put the 10mm nut back on there, which is right here. And we're going to go like this, screw it on by hand until it's snug. And then we're just going to use this guy to go righty-tighty. It's turning pretty good. Now it's getting snug. We're gonna, right there is good. Now before we go any further, I'm gonna wipe off my hands and I'm gonna turn on the engine and test it out. We want to make sure this works before we zip tie anything and move on to the other side. So that's what we're gonna do next. We have everything installed now, so I wanted to do a quick test to make sure everything's working right. So I'm going to start the engine and see if we get the startup sequence from the new marker light. If everything's working as planned, you should see the marker light activating when I start it up. Now we're going to try a turn signal and see if it turns. It should be blinking yellow now if everything's working as according to plan. I'm going to turn off the turn signal. We're going to put the four ways on. It should be blinking with the four ways now, yellow. Hopefully it is. I'll have to check the video later to make sure it's accurate. We're turning that off. Now we're going to do lights off. With the lights off, I'm not sure if the daytime running light will be activated. That marker light might be out completely. This is the daytime running light. It should be white now, steady. And this is the full headlights. Nothing should have changed. It should still just be white and steady. Now I'm going to have my cameraman move to the front of the car, and I'm going to turn the four ways on. The objective of this clip is to see if the right side is dimmer now that it has an extra wire coming off the headlight assembly. So I'm going to turn my headlights back to their auto position. So it's probably just daytime running lights now since we're in the middle of the afternoon. Now I'm going to put the four ways on. So both front and both back marker lights should be blinking. Turn signal lights. The side marker light should also be blinking, but right now, hopefully, both of the front turn signal lights have the same strength. One's not dimmer than the other. If that's the case, this is a successful upgrade. So I checked with my cameraman, and the lights look like they work as designed. So we're going to button everything down and tighten everything into place. Basically, I'm going to use I have two different lengths of zip ties. This is one of the longer ones because it's, oh well, these are my two sizes. The bigger ones are also thicker, so they'll last longer. So I'm going to try to use those ones if I can. What I'm going to need to do now is there's a wiring harness down here. I want to go under and around that. And then I want to fasten this block to that. So I think if I put it like this, that would be ideal. So I'm gonna start it. Oh, I have that on backwards. So zip ties only go on one way or work one way, so you have to basically, I had it in like this and it won't do anything, so I gotta fish it around this way so it will click. So let's see. Okay, I hear those clicks. That means we're good. We're going to put it basically, I'm going to put it in a spot like this where it's not rubbing against anything and it has room to flex if it needs to. And we're going to put this excess wire in here as well. We're going to pull that up until it's a little bit snugger. We're going to go like this. And then there you have it. So that's in a good spot. We have a little bit of room for flex on that as well. And get it as tight as I can. And then we're going to cut this excess off with a pair of pliers. It's kind of tight in here. I underestimated how much space I have, I should say. But that looks like that'll work without cutting any wires. Okay. Well, it sounded like I just cut something. There we go. Now that's good. Now we're going to come around here. I'm just going to button this up. We have these three little push pins that still need to go in. Just make sure they're pulled out as far as they'll go. And then you push them in and click. 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 Okay, well, that one's done. Well, we confirmed the other side works. We got everything buttoned down, and we went into the car and turned the wheel so that we can work on the left-hand side now. My cameraman and I both agreed it probably would be easier to start from this section up here first. So I'm going to press in that bottom push tab since we know where it is already. We have the screwdriver up here on the top. We're going to pry and pull and try not to cut myself. That was a close one. So we'll use a bigger screwdriver. And I don't know if you can see this brown wire here, but it looks like there's already some wire exposed. And these wires are all pretty small, so we don't want to pull too hard on the wires if we can. We want to focus on pulling on the plastic thing here. These are tight. I'm gonna cut one of these wires. I know it. I think we're moving. There we go. Well, I conferred with my cameraman, and he thinks that this is not frayed insulation on the wires, that it's some kind of a marker or paint. So we're going to leave it well enough alone and continue on. And this has a push tab on the bottom. So we're going to slide this in like this until it clicks. That wasn't the click, that was my ring going off of this air cleaner here. That didn't really click, but I heard it go in, or I felt it go in, so that's it for that. This one has the push pin on the bottom, which is right. I'm going to take this wire, pull this out, get some slack here, lay it up here. Actually, we definitely want it to run underneath this air conditioning line. And we're going to click this into here like this. It was hard to get in. It's going to be hard to. It was hard to get out. It's going to be hard to get in too. Seems like it's going now. I wish there was more room on these cars to do stuff. It's moving. There, it clicked. Good night. Okay. And we're just going to leave this right here for now so we can find it later. And then we're going to come around to the wheel well. And we're going to repeat the steps that we did on the other side of the car. So basically, we get our screwdriver in here, pop these rivets out without breaking them. That's the key phrase here. That's one. There's two. There's three. And then we get our fingers into here. This wasn't on very tight, so we don't need the screwdriver to pry this loose. Just use our bare hands here. And then there's the nut. We're going to go like this. Oops. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. So there we go. Screw the rest of the way off with our fingers. then we're going to squeeze the, we're going to push down on this clip here. We'll get the top out. Well, we'll start with this bottom piece. Get that out. There just doesn't seem like there's enough room for my hand up here. So I'll make more room for my thumb. Let's try this. Let me try a pair of pliers real quick. Good night. Got it. Okay. Now we're going to do the same removal steps on this side that we did on the other side. Basically going to pry this little catch up while we pull this off. That one's out. That's good. Now we're going to use the twisty and the wire fish, and we're going to bring the turn signal wire in. So okay, now this is going to go through this hole right here. I think that's okay. And just like before, we're going to keep fishing until we find it. Okay, see something way down in there. See if I can get my hand back there. Oh, I got it. Okay, there it is. So I talked to my cameraman before I started and said, should I wear gloves for this? Not because I was worried about getting my hands cut up, but because I was worried about getting them dirty, getting stuff under my fingernails. I probably should have worn gloves, but if I wore the rubber gloves I was planning to wear, I still would have got my hands cut up, so I guess it wouldn't have mattered. All right, just like before, we're going to feed that wire through the top hole. Make sure this one's in the bottom hole. We're going to hold these so they don't fall in. We're going to pull this out. And then we're going to put the new marker light on. Same thing we did before. We're going to make sure those two connectors on the inside are fairly even, and it looks like they are. So we'll connect this guy. It should just slide right on and click. There it goes. There was the click. This top wire. There's a little edge on this side. You just have to look for the edge. Slide that edge into the part that has the tab. Click. Now those are both there. Pull the slack into here. And then I'm gonna put this on till it clicks. Top and bottom clicked into place. And take that 10mm bolt. Thread that back on by hand. And then we're gonna hand crank it tight, just maybe a quarter of a turn, so we don't break the plastic. Make sure it's snug. Right there is good. Okay, before I put this all back together, I'm gonna pull the slack back up here. And we're gonna zip tie this down to something like, maybe there's a blue piece of the frame here. Maybe I could zip tie it to that. I don't want to zip tie it to the refrigerant line. So we'll find a good thing to connect it to. Up here maybe. Nope. I'm just gonna zip tie it down to that other wiring harness bundle. And we'll pull some slack in for that. Okay. So I'm just gonna grab the zip ties if I can find them. Okay. This is gonna go. There is no room to work on these cars. Under and up like this. So I hear it start clicking. Like that. And I'm gonna line everything up right where I want it. Right here like this maybe. And I'm going to tighten it down. This was supposed to be in there like this. Come on. There we go. Make it nice and snug. Okay, it's in a spot where it has some ability to flex with the engine. And I took up a lot of the slack for the turn signal wire. So that shouldn't be vibrating or rubbing against too many things. And now I actually have room to get in there with my pliers and cut the excess off. So I'm gonna do this. Come on. Bingo. All right, that's done. Now, if you want to come around here, all that's left to do is put these pop pins back in. Make sure they're pulled all the way out without breaking them. They should be able to, the end should squeeze in. And you just, well, let me see how much wire I have down here. There's a lot of loose wire, but it is what it is. So plug this in and push it till it clicks. That one's in. That one's in. That one's in. Pull the plastic off. And we're done. That's it. It took me, I think I've been working on this for about an hour and a half. That includes all the cuts, the starts, the filming, the whole 9 yards. I did scratch my hand in a couple spots. I think the most difficult part was probably trying to fish the wire through the front quarter panels and the front bumper to get it here. And then getting this, pressing this top clip in was a pain. So I'm left-handed, so I was stronger on the other side. I was having trouble squeezing this down far enough to actually get it to come out of the body. So that was the other thing that really scratched me up, and it was a pain. Other than that, everything was straightforward, pretty simple. You can do it with basically just a screwdriver, 10 millimeter. I used a ratcheting wrench. You could use a regular wrench. You could use a pair of pliers even, just to get that nut off and to tighten it back on. And then I used 2 zip ties, one on either side. It's pretty much all you need for this job. So that was episode number 11, installing the KUNGKIC animated front marker lights with turn signal features. And that's it. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe. I do have other upgrades for my car coming, so I'll post those videos as soon as I have those ready. And thank you for your time.